they're coming in rapidly now. And next year with the Three-Eye Atlas, and there's going to be a lot of activity in the skies with the galactic ships. There are so many ships in the skies, and I've actually done feminine power is not soft. Like, I look at the ocean for feminine power. She can rage, she can scream, she can be wild with her waves, and then she can be soft and she can be tender.
Like,
so it's
the
not
fork for different timelines and the portals. So what is it that we need to do as humanity? What are the choice points? And
we are at one right now in December. We are at the fork in the road. We were there last year as well. And the 1212 is always huge. Like, this portal that we're coming up to is huge, where we are going to up level and shift into the new vibrations. And then, you can work it out. But that timeline split is coming, that you have to choose which old Earth or new Earth. And those timeline splits are pivotal right now, because so many souls are waking up at the moment, but the Arcturians are saying like March is a really pivotal time. 2026 is a profound year. So the Arcturians say, don't stop yourselves from your evolution. It's why you came to Earth for this time. And this is your opportunity to move into the lighter vibrations, to discover more soul gifts that will astound you and blow your mind of who you are and how so frequency is the way to remembrance. You got to raise your vibrational frequency. But the Arcturians, I started working with the Arcturians from the 9th dimension first, then the 11th started to come through, and then the 22nd dimension. So I don't
hi, this is Akanksshaa. If you're new here, please subscribe to my channel. If you resonate with me, please like, comment, and share. Welcome to Multidimensional Soul Podcast and a Talk Show. Our guest today is Neelam Sareen from UK. She's a quantum alchemist, a channeler, and she's a repeat guest on our podcast. A very warm welcome, Neelam, on Multidimensional Soul Talk Show and Podcast. It's so lovely to have you again.
Oh, it's lovely to be back, and it's been a while since we were together. I think we were together earlier in the year, so it's lovely to be back.
Yeah, it's been quite some time.
It has.
You work with quite a few different higher beings, Arcturians, Pleiadians. How do you differentiate their energies? How do you receive the guidance?
I usually see them, so I get a snapshot and I see their name, and then I start to feel their energies coming in. So when I started this work, it was only, I used to channel like the Ascended Masters. It started off with the angels and the Ascended Masters. And then it was the Arcturians that started to come through from the 9th dimension. So I got used to their frequency and their vibration. And then it was the Pleiadians that started to come through. And then the Andromedans started to come in, and the Venusians. So I usually see them. I see their energy. I feel their energy. I see their name. I get a sense of their name. And then I feel their frequencies coming in. So they're all very different. And that's how I've learned to differentiate between them, but always very beautiful and very loving as well. So
yeah, beautiful. Can you tell us how different their energies are, and do you know what dimension they come from? Are there any specific names of any beings that you invoke in them?
So I don't, my nose is going, so they're starting to come through. That's usually when I feel them coming in, when my nose starts itching. But the Arcturians, I started working with the Arcturians from the 9th dimension first, then the 11th started to come through, and then the 22nd dimension. So I don't do like specific names. I don't have one being that I work with. I always work with collectives. Councils. I tend to work with councils, so I don't have one person or one being that I work with. It's always the High Council of Light, so the Egyptian High Council, the Sirius High Council, the Arcturian High Council. So when I used to go into the ninth dimension, I would be greeted by an entire council, and then I would sit with them, and they would teach me, or they'd show me, the work that they do, and then we started to work together for clients and helping the groups and in the group transmissions. So that was the ninth. And then after I started to get familiar with the ninth dimensional council, then the 11th started to come through, and they showed me how they work with frequency, how they work with the physical body. And then it was the 22nd dimension with their Arcturian pods. They started to come in. So we started to work with group sessions, working with health and healing, alchemy in the body, and entering the pods of the 22nd dimension. So they were very powerful. They were kind of calling me in their dreams to come up. So I tend to go to the ships. I tend to go up and have a up, well, it's all multidimensional, but I go and explore the ships. I feel the frequencies. I see how they work with the body, and then I bring in and create the event, and then we do it with the groups. And they have the most incredible experiences. So it's really, my role is to be a bridge between, the star councils and Earth, and really show souls the frequencies of the other dimensions, the frequencies of the star councils, how they can support us. The Pleiadians as well, they're very magical, they're very playful, they're very innocent, and like they dance and play. So they're all about creativity and the importance of creativity and color. And I just went to Peru. We did a retreat in Peru, and Peru really reminded me of Pleiadian energy. Even our guide was very Pleiadian, very loving, lots of color everywhere, like explosions of colors everywhere. And I felt that is very Pleiadian. They tend to be teachers here as well, guides. But really they ask us to connect back to our innocence and the inner child, because to go into the higher vibrations, they're all about connecting back to your joy. So I love their energy as well. They're very sensitive. So usually when I work with the Arcturians are very scientific. So they kind of come in, they get the work done, and then they're gone. But with the Pleiadians, when I used to work with clients and take them to the ninth dimension, the Arcturians would be working with the client, but then the Pleiadians would come and hold their hand, and just give them that compassionate support. So I find that the Arcturians are very scientific and very methodical, and the Pleiadians are very compassionate, very loving, like they want to hold your hand through your processes and just be there to support you. So more motherly, more nurturing than the Arcturians. The Andromedans are very much about structure. So I've taken souls up to the ships there, and they work with a lot of crystal technology. They have a lot of plants there as well on their ships. And they're all about the structures. So they're very present, working with new structures of the New Earth templates, helping build new communities, working with souls here on the Earth. So they're very ancient, very wise, but they're kind of not old school. They're very serious in the way they approach, they approach and work with you. But they're very much very methodical, and they like to have the systems in place. So very present on Earth right now, helping us build the new structures of the new worlds. The Venusians are very loving. I see them as white beings. I remember taking a group to Venus. I don't know why I lost it there, but I remember taking a group to Venus. And as we were entering and coming towards the ship, like they scan you. They were scanning us before we entered to make sure you're the correct frequency to enter. And then they opened the ship and we went in. So we've been into the landing platform, then we've been around the Venusian, ships. And again, souls have got to explore the ships and feel the technology and connect with Star Family that way. So yeah, we worked with a lot of beings over the years. It's been amazing to be able to show them what's really out there and how to work with the different energies themselves.
Yeah, so fascinating. My son is working with the Venusians right now, actually. And we've
Wow.
had guests on podcasts who are connected with Venusians, travel to Venus, and also Arcturians. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so I would love to know more about Arcturians actually. They are also very actively guiding the ascension right now. So,
Yeah.
from Arcturian Council perspective, what is the guidance in terms of what are the choice points for humanity right now, like the fork for different timelines and the portals. So, what is it that we need to do as humanity? What are the choice points and portals? And have you got any downloads in terms of the dates, especially because these years are crucial?
These years are crucial. And, we've had a lot of timeline choices and a lot of forks in the road. We are at one right now in December. We are at the fork in the road. We were there last year as well. So, what the Arcturian Council want is to get as many souls into the higher vibrations, to start holding the template of the higher vibrations so that souls can start to come across and be lead by example, show the way, be an example of the new energetics, be embodied in the vibrations of the higher templates. Like, it's not just once or twice. You got to anchor yourself in these higher vibrations and be that compassionate leader here on the earth, where you're living your truth, you're in the abundance of the higher vibrations, and you're creating from that space. You're creating and living in your soul suit, in your authentic soul suit. So they ask you to surrender the fear. Attachment. Attachment is a big one that the Arcturians ask you to kind of let go of. Attachment to, they call it the suffering template. So, when we have attachments, we suffer. And so when we let go, so they're teaching us at the moment detachment. So detachment is not bypassing, but it's learning to let go and surrender control. Control is a big one that we will be called to. We have been letting go of control this year. We've been letting go of expectations and judgments, and just taking a deep breath every time we judge. We take a deep breath and we surrender, and then we just allow, like we allow another soul to experience their reality the way they want to experience it. We allow them to explore their own timelines. We're not here to control anyone. We're not here to push or force anyone. We are here to be living presence and guidance. And if souls want our guidance, it's there. And if they don't, that they can choose that. So many souls are waking up at the moment, but the Arcturians are saying like March is a really pivotal time. 2026 is a profound year. So what they've been saying is this month, like this year, we've been shedding, we've been cleaning up, we've been letting go, and we're surrendering the ego. The ego death is going on. We're surrendering the rigidity, the control, the restrictions, the mind and how it takes you down the rabbit holes. We're being very conscious. We're becoming more and more conscious and present to our everyday and every moment. And as we become present to each moment and how we show up in each moment, how we can, turn and recalibrate our energy to a higher vibration, we then keep moving into the higher timelines. So they are really supportive at this time to help us move into the higher vibrations. 2026 is a very powerful, profound year of change. And they say to honor who you are on a soul level, like, is to let go of your attachment to your human identity, to let go of the attachment to the roles that you've played in the past, because they're not going to serve you in the new templates. It's more about soul embodiment and who you are as a soul, a multidimensional being of light. So the attachment to your identities must be dissolved now so that you can fully move into change and honoring yourself as a soul, as a being of light who is here on earth. And now it's really about exploring the new timelines, exploring who you are on a higher vibration, allowing yourselves to explore yourselves, not being attached to, if I change, it's going to disrupt in many relationships are breaking down right now because some souls are choosing not to grow and others are choosing to grow. So what happens at that point is it's like an elastic band. It snaps and one will continue their journey unless the other is willing to do the work or gives the other permission to go. And then, you can work it out. But that timeline split is coming, that you have to choose which old Earth or new Earth. And those timeline splits are pivotal right now because the sooner you move into the new vibrations, the sooner you can start to enjoy the vibrations of the higher realms. More abundance, more flow, more ease, more grace, more presence, more peace. So the Arcturians say, don't stop yourselves from your evolution. It's why you came to Earth for this time. Don't block your soul gifts because they want to be shared through you. You haven't even discovered, like they're saying, you've discovered about 10% of who you actually are. And this is your opportunity to move into the lighter vibrations, to discover more soul gifts that will astound you and blow your mind of who you are and how multidimensional you are, and the magnitude of your brilliance will astound us. But we got to let go of the attachment to our human identity. That is one of the biggest messages. And also surrender, let go, and go with the flow. So very often I see us being like water. We are being called to become like water, flowing, fluid, adaptable, agile, and open to change. Yeah.
Yeah. True. As we are ascending, especially more and more people are falling out of our lives. Those whose souls have taken a choice or a decision that they will not probably ascend at this time. And that is why the attachment is very, very important. I can so resonate with this. When it comes to solar activity, and right now there's so much of discussion on solar flash. There's a big event that is expected, and there's a discussion about 3i Atlas kind of amplifying it and supporting the humanity propel in a big way. So, can you tune into the Arcturian Council and get their guidance as to when exactly are we expecting this event, and what can we do to better prepare ourselves for this?
The ethos I come from and the way I work with the councils is they don't like to give specific dates because then they say humanity is waiting, and we're not meant to wait. Like every day you're meant to show up in your truth. And if you're waiting for an event, then you're not really present here in this moment. So I don't like to give dates at this date, this is going to happen. Even I have heard so much about the solar flash, but it can create a lot of emotions in the body, and the councils will say, stay present and be living in this moment and live your life fully in each moment, and don't wait for an event to come because then you're not really present. And so we're missing the point there. So I don't like to give dates for specific events. I feel it's what we're meant to do is stay present. There are timeline shifts, like March is a big one. I'm seeing August as well. The 888 portal is always very big. The 777 portal is huge. Usually 7th of July is also very big. And the 1212 is always huge. Like this portal that we're coming up to is huge, where we are going to up level and shift into the new vibrations. And then it tends to come on the equinoxes, the spring equinox, and then the summer, the solstice, and the autumn. So there are times when we get these huge influxes of energy coming in. They're coming in more frequently now. So they're coming in rapidly now. And next year with the Three-Eye Atlas, and there's going to be a lot of activity in the skies with the galactic ships. There are so many ships in the skies, and I've actually done 3 meditation channelings on my channel if anyone wants to listen to them. But they all say our ships are everywhere, and they are everywhere. When I close my eyes, I see the ships everywhere. There's more and more ships coming to Earth because the vibrations are increasing. We are going to be pulling and stepping into our hearts much more in 2026, and Three-Eye Atlas is helping us to purge, to let go, to release the suffering, to release the wounds. So it's been fast in the sense there's a lot of purging that we've done this year, and shedding of the skins this year, and cleaning up anything that needs to be cleaned up, cleaning up ancestral wounds, and anything that's holding us hostage in the past. We're breaking out, and we're moving, and we're choosing, our happiness. We're choosing lightness. We're choosing to move beyond suffering. So the energies are supporting that. So they're coming in fast. Don't wait for an event. Just see every day how you are shifting, how you are changing. Focus every day on stepping into your heart and being more compassionate and kind, firstly with yourselves and then with others around you, and show how you can support the planet, how you can share messages, how you can help the evolution of the planet, and even just in your own life, cleaning up your shadow and moving beyond fear and giving yourself permission to follow your joy. You are helping the collective evolution and consciousness on the planet. So the Arcturians will, I'm sure many do give dates, but I prefer not to, because then we're not living in the present moment.
Yeah, but we got the milestones. It doesn't have to be the exact date, but we have got the milestones as to March and August and the summer solstice. So these are important essentially, and you mentioned about 7/7 also being important. So from preparation perspective, like, what is it that and you did mention about some of the daily work that we do need to do in terms of meditation, shadow work, and energy cleansing and all that. If you were to connect with these beings, and you mentioned that there are many ships available, and next year is going to be big disclosure and it's going to be public. So right now I understand is the star seeds are getting contacted first, and the light workers, and then everybody else will be contacted. So if our audience were to kind of initiate that contact from their side, what is it, some simple protocol or steps that you can give?
Yeah, the Arcturian beings have been around for a very long time on our planet, and so, but we're becoming aware of them now. So, and as more and more souls become aware of them, we talk about being ready to see the ships, but we're not quite ready yet. And so the information is kind of coming into the public now, so that we start to think about, that there is other life forms, just not just Earth. And that they're not aliens, they are benevolent beings. So that is information that they're starting to get out into the general public. But the way to connect with the Arcturians, they're very beautiful, benevolent beings, and you can connect through your heart, and you can just ask your higher self, always call in your higher self to connect with your higher self, and then to bring in the benevolent beings of light. So to connect with the Arcturians in your meditation, and just get to feel their vibrations and feel their loving presence. You can connect with the Pleiadians, and just feel their vibrations. So just start to get to know the vibrations of these beings, and how you can do automatic writing as well, and bring in a channeled message for yourself, so that you can receive messages from them. Maybe if you're very visual, you'll be able to see them, but they're around us all the time, and they're bringing in these beautiful frequencies, and they're all around Earth at the moment. And where there's a lot of density, I see a lot of Arcturian ships cleaning up the energy because they're alchemists. That's why they work with me a lot, because I'm an alchemist. I clean up, the shadow so they're doing that in areas like the Middle East. I can see them all around there. They're also in Japan right now. So they'll have a heavy presence in certain areas when they're cleaning up the energy, trying to neutralize it. But they also remind us to neutralize our own energy. So if we have a dip, it's really important to regulate and balance your energetics, come back into neutrality. And you can do that through breath work, even just breathing deeply, breathing in and breathing out for about 10 minutes. You can regulate your parasympathetic nervous system. You can drop out of fight or flight, and you can come back into just calmness, creating calmness in your nervous system. And this is what's going to be really important, because with all these vibrations and energies coming in, you can wake up with the anxiety some mornings because you feel the flutters in your heart. You're feeling anxious. You don't know what's going on. And it's just this, you might be getting a surge of energy. That day there may be some solar activity and it's affecting your electrical circuits. You might also be picking up the collective energy because there's a lot going on in the world, a lot of fear mongering. So it's really important individually that you recalibrate and you neutralize your energy field to zero. And you do that through breath so that you're no longer in fight or flight. You're no longer feeding fear, but you're neutralized, you're in balance, you're in harmony, and then you can move through your day. Yeah. And then you try and shift it into a higher vibration, go into nature for a walk, listen to some lovely music or do some meditation, call in your guides to sit with you to help you neutralize your heart. You can set that intention and ask them to come in, and you can just put your hand on your heart for about 10 minutes and breathe in and breathe out, and bring in source light, bring in Arcturian light, bring in Pleiadian light, whatever you're guided to, call in for yourself, and just feel your energy settling, calming, balancing, neutralizing, and letting go of any anxious energy that you're holding on to, letting go of any fear, and just bringing yourself back to love and peace within you. So that's going to be really important on a daily basis to do that. Yeah. So that is going to be really important. So you can connect with all of them. Do one at a time, and then you can see how each one feels. And then if you feel like a resonance to one particular group, like you feel really connected to the Arcturians, so then you can have a constant communication with the Arcturians.
And I understand that they also, from their side, connect with you, specific groups, because you may have had lifetimes before on those particular star systems. And from that perspective, they may feel more resonance with you, and they also may connect with you, right?
Yeah, if you've had lifetimes in Arcturus, then you'll have certain connections with certain star councils. So you might be very connected to the 9th Council of Light. Or you might be connected to, like, very many years ago, I kept trying to go up to the 22nd dimension. I didn't know why I kept trying to go up there, but because I knew of that frequency and that vibration, and it was the Arcturians I was trying to reach. And the Arcturians from the 22nd dimension eventually then contacted and started to bring in their pods. So, we have this remembrance in our DNA. We remember why we get called to specific dimensions, specific star systems, because we've had many lifetimes there. And so there is a remembrance and a connection. So when you connect back to those beings, you feel your heart expand and you feel that emotion and tears and a homecoming. You feel that homecoming, which is really beautiful.
So true. You talked about 9th, 12th, and 22nd dimensions for Arcturians. So all are 9D and above. For example, Venusians, Andromedans, and Pleiadians. Are they all 9D and above, or how is it?
I have met Arcturians who are in the fifth dimension. They call themselves the Council of One. I didn't know who they were initially when they started to contact me, but then they were the Council of One who are helping us move into the fifth dimension. So there are fifth dimensional Arcturians. But I tend to be pulled to the ninth and up. So, and the 12th dimension. So I find that they are, yes, ninth dimension and upwards. They are existing on many planes, but I tend to feel that I tend to experience them from the ninth dimension and up. Like the Pleiadians I've connected to are from the ninth dimension, the Arcturians are from the ninth dimension, and then you just get, they are existing on many planes, but it's, you will feel called and then you will connect with those beings. They're all very different, actually. But yeah, 90 is where I feel.
Yeah, they're on many planes. Like Venusians are in our density as well. There are Venusians in our density as well, and then there are higher dimensional Venusians. Is what I understand.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the councils that started to contact me were from the ninth initially, and then they went up. So I'm used to the councils and star councils from 90 upwards. So that's who I tend to connect with. But there are many councils here right now, and the Venusians on the Earth and Arcturians on the Earth, and also in 5D. Yeah.
When you talked about councils, and I do understand that there is some governance that is there, but in terms of and some call it as federation, some call confederation, galactic confederation. How are these councils, star councils, related to the confederation? And are there any universal laws that we have to abide by, irrespective of whichever star council you are part of?
I find when I've connected with the Galactic Federation, they're all about law and order. So I find they're the galactic police. So they keep the law and order of the universe. So they look at Earth, and when they say to us, when you are like certain places on the Earth, if you're playing with your toys and you're going to get out of control, they come in and they put a stop to it. So that's when they intervene. So they are always scanning and keeping an eye on the multiverse, on the other galaxies and in the galaxy. So Galactic Federation are very much about policing and keeping the harmony. I find like the Arcturians, there is a law and order, it's cause and effect, and it exists. I was talking about this in my last video about the cosmic accountant and the cosmic balance sheet. There is a cosmic balance sheet, and it's about balance. You have to have that balance between your left and right, your masculine and your feminine. And as we move into the higher vibrations, that's really prevalent. That's really important to have that sacred union within you, the balance of your masculine and feminine, knowing when to use your masculine energy and when to use your feminine, and just co-create in harmony. So balance, I would say peace and balance is really important as you move into the higher vibrations, and living with grace, like connected to spirit, and operating in a way that is not self-serving, in a way that is damaging the planet, but the unity of everything. Like, how do my actions affect the earth? How do my actions affect my fellow humans? So you come from that space. So it's constantly being in balance, in alignment, in connection with source, and in your heart. That's really important.
You talked about DNA remembrance, our soul remembrance being a part of our DNA. And our DNA gets conditioned and restricted because of the environment and the societal conditioning, the lineage patterns that we all have. And what I understand is that we are moving from 2-strand to 12-strand DNA and carbon based to crystalline based DNA. And the ascension is all about actually remembering who you are and then operating at that vibration. So, if you were to give any guidance to our audience in terms of how do we easily kind of upgrade our DNA and take out that conditioning, and some simple practices to remember our soul, who we are.
So the most important thing, I'm a DNA activator, so I work with the 12-strand DNA, and it's all about, like, I do frequency transmission. I'm a frequency transmitter. So I transmit the frequencies from all the different star councils, the different dimensions, and what that starts to do, it starts to awaken our DNA, and it starts to open up those bands of frequency that we have a remembrance, a connection to. So it starts to plug in, the sockets that have been unplugged. So frequency is the way to remembrance. You got to raise your vibrational frequency. You can listen to frequency sounds on YouTube or on Spotify. Sound bowls as well are a great way. Humming yourself and connecting with your own sound, and just creating that hum within you, speaking to yourself in a very beautiful, loving vibration, like of compassionate, loving grace. You can bring in the vibrations of Source. You can bring in the vibrations of Divine Mother and just hum that energy in or speak to yourself. But really, it's about frequency and vibration. And that's the way we are going to up level and connect to our cosmic selves and activate our DNA. So when I do energy transmissions, we bring in like huge amounts of light, and it starts to awaken, activate, and then they can see their soul gifts. They can see who they are on a higher vibration. But that's how they work with the DNA. They bring in lots of frequency, light transmissions, light codes. The sun as well at the moment is bringing in a lot of light codes. So, yes, a few days ago I was outside and I literally got the message that we need to get outside. We need to connect with the sun because there's lots of codes coming in from the sun, from the great central sun. So that's also important. So anytime it's sunny, get out for a walk and just get some like light on you. But really frequency. And you can do that in many ways, in meditation, connecting with the beings, or sound and light, and nature as well. Like we went to Peru and we really worked with Pachamama and the vibrations of the earth, because it's very pure, the frequencies there, and connecting with the sun and moon temples and the vibrations there. So we were constantly aligning our field back to source and back to Mother Earth and back to, embodiment of the higher vibrations in the body. So certain places on the planet you can also go to receive those activations as well, or receive energy transmissions where we transmit the frequencies to you and through your vessel, which starts to awaken the DNA. So lots of ways.
Yeah, beautiful. You talked about Divine Mother, and I have been experiencing Divine Mother's presence for the last 1 year more so. And I have observed this, that there is more feminine leadership coming to surface, coming to forefront. It's still not there yet. We still have a lot of toxic and aggressive masculines leading the world, and there's a lot of chaos even now, and it'll take a few years probably to come feminine leadership to forefront. When we talk about the feminine qualities, the feminine qualities are being soft, nurturing, warmth, loving, giving kind, and attracting, not chasing. And it is more about being creative, creating free flow. Those are the feminine qualities. But we are still living in a world where there is a lot of aggression, there is a lot of focus on deliverables, getting the things done, and deadlines, and go kind of a goal. And either they will respect you only when you are put on a pedestal, which is not ideal, because we are going towards sovereignty. So putting somebody on pedestal is definitely not the way to go. But then the downside is then they don't respect you, because if you're soft and you are you are not really being aggressive, then they lack that respect. So how, as especially as women, and I'm talking about women, even though we all have the balance of feminine and masculine, and we do need to balance it, but I'm talking more from women and having feminine qualities. How do we get or command that respect and reverence without being put on the pedestal?
Okay. So I very often, when I do womb healing for women, clearing the old templates of light and the traumas from their wombs, very often I hear that there will be feminine leadership. So in many families, in many relationships on the earth where women have been suppressed, the masculine has been removed in ways so that she can step into her power and lead her life. Now, we're not here to put people's souls on a pedestal, but you do need way showers through this time to lead the way, to guide the way. I call us guides, to show the way into the new templates. You know, for a while you do need them until we are in the sovereign templates and we've moved over. But right now we do need guides. Like every community has a focal point that is a glue, right, that brings the community together. If you don't have that, then we'll all be running around like headless chicken. We're coming back into our sovereignty, but still each community needs that flow and that guidance. Right now we still need it, but eventually we're gonna be very sovereign in ourselves, listening to our own intuition, leading our way, leading our life the way we feel we feel we need to guide it. The way feminine power is attractive is magnetism. Like when a woman is embodied in her power, she's balanced within herself. She's not chasing, she's not forcing, she's not in her toxic masculine. She becomes very magnetic, like she radiates light, and she will naturally attract what she needs. So she doesn't have to use the toxic masculine energies of force, control, manipulation. She doesn't have to use any of that, but her embodying herself, knowing her truth, knowing her connection to the divine, not having to shout from the rooftops who she is, but really being embodied. Her presence will speak louder than words, because she's holding a frequency, and as souls around her, they will feel her magnetism, they will feel her radiance, they will know that she's embodied, they will feel it. It's a feeling that you get that sense of peace from a person who is embodied in their light, and you get the vibration of love. But it's not too, feminine power is not soft. Like I look at the ocean for feminine power. She can rage, she can scream, she can be wild with her waves, and then she can be soft and she can be tender. So it's not to think that the feminine is soft, and soft is not weakness. Softness is strength. She uses her softness in a way to nurture and to love, but she's also very strong. Like she has boundaries. Love without a container, love without boundaries, you're just leaking your energy. You have to learn boundaries. This has been a big lesson for us here. When you have such a loving heart and you want to share your love with everyone, but you get depleted. So we've had to learn boundaries. We've had to learn when to give our love, when not to, when to bring it into ourselves, when to love ourselves, and then give out in balance. So the ocean is constantly replenishing itself and regenerating itself. And we also, as women, have to do that. Our feminine energy has to be regenerated, replenished before she gives out. Otherwise, she becomes depleted. So your magnetism will speak volumes through this time, and you don't have to be sitting on a pedestal, but anyone around you who is intuitive, who has a feeling, will sense that you're holding a certain frequency. They'll feel it in your environment. They'll feel that your presence is your magnetism, and your magnetism is the energy that draws everything that you desire to you. So divine feminines become more magnetic, and how you become more magnetic is to be fully embodied in your sovereignty, which means knowing who you are, being deeply connected to Source and Mother Earth, and your higher self, and being a living embodiment of Christ consciousness here on the earth, and knowing that you don't have to force, but everything will come to you. You just have to take the inspired action to, when you get that guidance, to step forward. And you're working in co-creation with the divine. And when you are working in co-creation with the divine, you will be fed everything, because you're living in that vibration of abundance and flow, and oneness. So that's where we're heading. And that's where women and the divine feminines have to embody that frequency. And many are at this time. Many are starting to embody and hold that vibration, which is really beautiful, because it's changing the balance on earth. So I know we see a lot in the earth, on earth right now, but it's shifting and changing, and towers will be toppling over the next couple of years. Next year even, we're going to see so much shifting, because really we do need the feminine heart to lead the way. That compassionate, loving energy, but not soft in the sense of, she knows her boundaries, she knows how to lead, she knows how to make decisions, she knows how to, steer the ship in a storm. You have to know, you have to use your logic and also your heart. So you have to be strong. Yeah.
When you talked about towers toppling, and what I understand is that lot of institutions are going to crumble and fall apart. There is financial, education, banking, and lot of the sectors. Pharma, I don't know, but that's what I understand, that all are eventually going to fall apart. And the current patterns are that the leadership everywhere across the world, majority of it is by toxic wounded masculine energies. So in such a scenario, how does feminine rise to this challenge and take charge when there is so much happening? And what exactly is going to happen when you mention that there is a tower kind of falling apart? So can you just tune into Divine Mother and get the guidance about it?
Yeah. So, I can give my own, example, like 2019, when I went through the breakdown of my marriage, my reality completely crumbled, and I left the old system and moved into the new system. So, my ex-husband leaving, and I felt all the betrayal and the pain of all of that and the heartbreak. But then I saw the hand of Source, and the hand of Source said, "No, come. You don't belong here anymore, and I will show you where your abundance comes from, that your divine inheritance is yours, and no one has access to that, like it's yours." So, we think, and I was taken to the bank of Source, and I was shown in the higher dimensions where our individual abundance comes from, our inherent abundance, which is our birthright. So it's that deeper knowing that no matter what happens with the institutions, the banks, when they fall apart, there is a higher force and there is a higher guidance, and the abundance will be given to us when we connect in and know without fear that we are not going to lose, we are going to gain, like we're going to be in alignment with a higher template that takes care of us. And that's what we're getting back to. So right now, there's a lot of fear of the old systems collapsing. Yes, they're going to collapse, but there's going to be a net. and there's going to be a hand, and there's going to be another system underneath that will be shown to you on a higher vibration. So initially you'll feel like you're losing, but then you'll be on to the new software system plugged in, where you know your abundance will come to you. Like you got to know it in every cell and move beyond fear, connect back to source. Remember that the earth feeds everything, and spirit feeds us everything. That everything, if we become one with that energy, everything is fed and we are looked after, and all our needs will be met. And I've experienced it personally, and I've helped others shift onto the new operating system and change their mindset about abundance. So right now, it's not to look at the news, not to listen to, what's falling apart, because it's to look at and see what is building. There are systems in place ready to support you into the higher vibrations, and it's to focus on that rather than focus on what's falling apart and be in fear of loss. That's exactly what we're trying to get out of, the fear of loss, to let go of that old template and to know that you will be okay. Everything, there is a hand of source, of the divine, that is holding you always, and you are remembering and you are reconnecting to that unity consciousness that we are all a part of. So not to fear, but to know that you are supported.
Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in from wherever you are in the world. As Ramdas says, that we are just walking each other home. So thank you for co-creating the new earth along with me and my guests. If you resonate with me, subscribe to my channel, like, comment and share. Let's keep this beautiful energy in flow, in motion. Namaste. Lots of love.